I'd like to call to order the voting session for February the 21st, 2023. The invocation will be given by Mickey Clark, pastor of Crossroads Community Church. Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Commissioner Mike Hughes.
Before I pray, I don't know if anybody has told you recently, but I want to tell you thank you. I know it's not always easy what you do, but you need to know that at least one person notices, and I appreciate you guys. Lord, thank you so much for this opportunity to be about your business and do what you called us to do. Lord, you've given every one of us an amazing ability to have an amazing thing called influence. And the way we govern that and the way that we use that is vitally important for everybody around us. So may we leverage our influence to put more credit back on you, to expand our territory, and to be an amazing county that is blessed and has your favor. Be with these men and women as they make decisions. Give them discernment and the ability to do what you've called them to do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to remind everyone to turn their mics on when they speak. Out here in the outer space, no one can hear you if you don't have that mic on. Next, roll call, please.
Alford. Here. Cry.
Here.
Blake. Here. Collins.
Here.
Gilbert.
Here.
Thompson. Here. Goins.
Here.
Slater.
Here.
Mason.
Here.
Ledford.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Winters.
Here.
Beatty.
Here.
Hughes.
Here.
14 present and none opposed.
Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes. I would like to entertain a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Thompson, second by Commissioner Goins. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yeah.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Next item is the report from the county mayor, Mayor Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. I only have one thing to report today, the septic repair program report. 104 properties are in process, 6 potential sewer hookups, 15 permits have been issued, 13 contracts are in place. None have been completed as of yet. That's as of Friday. That's all I have. I believe everything else is on the agenda unless someone has a question or something for me.
Any questions, comments to the mayor?
Not, thank you.
Consent agenda. Entertain a motion.
So move.
Goins. Second, Thompson. I'll look to the right here in a few minutes. Give me discussion on the consent agenda. Call the roll, please.
Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Mr. Chairman, please allow me to note item 38 of the consent agenda is the updated budget calendar with the date change I announced last week. Item 39 is the budget preparation packet with instructions for budget requests that will be distributed to department heads and elected officials for their budget requests. I just want to make that note. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Next is reports from the committees and our districts.
We need to vote on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. Next is reports from committees and our districts. We'll start on our left. Commissioner Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Had the opportunity last night to go to Cleveland High School and watch our Bradley Bearettes win the district championship again last night over Cleveland Blue Raiders, and just want to say congratulations to those Lady Bearettes. It was a great and hard-fought game, and really enjoyed being there. And other than that, I have nothing else to report today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Ledford, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have just a
couple of items. Jim Wells was a guardsman in the National Guard with me. He passed away last Friday, not this past, but Friday before last. He was a captain of the rescue squad. He was a great man. I want to send condolences out to his family. Had a little text from about the landfill not accepting cash, but Adam just cleared that up, and I think that is not true. I think the landfill is accepting cash. Is that correct, Adam? Okay. And we do have our guardsman dinner tonight. I was in the Guard for 12 years, and we're having our annual dinner for all the guardsmen to gather up and just communicate how things have been going over the years. I was off last week. I done tours of the fire department, Pie Center, nursing home, and my 3 schools, and it was all good. Juvenile detention center also, and that's all. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Slater. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Chairman. Everything's well in the 6th District. I will have a TDOT litter report next Monday. And also, as you commissioners know, I answer my phone calls and emails and stuff. If you have something in your district, roadways that need cleaned, I'm 1 truck and 5 men, and 1 trailer. So I'm down a little bit on that, but I will be headed your way shortly. It's 800 square miles, so just keep your constituents in mind that it's a lot of roadway. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. You did a great job on Hooper Gap Road and Mallory Road. They were cleaned up very well. Thank you. Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to report today.
Great. Commissioner Goins.
Wow.
Commissioner Thompson.
4th District, well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Gilbert.
I have nothing for the 4th.
Commissioner Winters.
Mr. Chairman, let me get on the bandwagon with Tim Mason. I was in a doctor's office this last week or so, and in that meeting, this came up concern about some litter and some trash that was in the road that they couldn't get out, and did I know anybody that could take care of that? I referred that to Commissioner Mason. I said, not only is he a lieutenant in the sheriff's department, he is also in charge of litter and Keep America Beautiful. And it was taken care of the next day. We really appreciate that for the hard work that he does. And if you have that kind of problem, I think Tim is the guy to take care of it. But he does it with authority and with good. He didn't disturb the neighborhood. He took care of business in a very nice way. Thank you very much. Also, I spent time in the last year working with the cemeteries, trying to get those up to a more efficient area of work. And as you read in the paper, if you read the banner, you saw that there's been a major move by the state and by the federal government to move on this. And that came from a lot of work done, but it also came from a young lady that's here today, Miss Marshall. I hope you're here. Are you here, Miss Marshall? Would you come up for just a moment? All right, Mr. Chairman?
That's fine. We'd love to hear from her.
As I came into this position 12 years ago, this problem was still in place with the cemeteries and all the work. One of the first persons that I remember coming up here and passionately asking that we move forward in making sure that this is taken care of was Ms. Marshall. And I know she has family members that are there. I know you have to feel good about what's happened so far, but there's still work to do. Would you like to share with the commission how you feel today and what you see for the future? Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me. I am in District 2. I've called on Tom Cry and Louis Alford before, and also Bill Winters. I've been before the commission a couple of times. I appreciate all the support I've gotten from the commissioners and from the state. They were just fined $16,000, $15,000 in civil penalties, and then another $1,600 related to the cost that it took the state to do the investigation. things look okay right now, but the grass has been dormant. So I fully expect that we'll go through this again this year. It's like fighting a losing battle. But the state of Tennessee has really stepped up the last couple of years. During COVID, I was able to have a Zoom meeting with a couple of the gentlemen at the state, Toby Compton and Robert Gribble, and they explained to me why, even though these cemetery owners are chronic offenders, this has been going on for over a decade, essentially since they took up ownership of the cemetery. But they explained that there's just a fine line between charging them too much in penalties versus not enough. If they charge them too much, then the Lawrence Group, the owners, can file an appeal, and then it can get tied up in court. So that was a good explanation for me. Like I said, things are looking okay right now, but the grass is going to start growing here in a week or two, and I fully expect that we'll keep going through this year after year. But they underestimate the people of Bradley County. You know, we will stay after them. A lot of y'all have walked the cemetery grounds with us. I've got thousands of pictures that date back to 2013. So we've got the documentation, and we've got the fortitude to keep going toe-to-toe with these owners.
Yeah, and you have.
But I do want to thank everybody in this room that's helped, in the community, so many people. It's not just one person. It takes an army.
Yes, it does.
But thank you.
Thank you for being here. Let me say in closing here with this subject, General Crump and his team have worked as a young man that's a Bradley County former resident that's taken this on, and on his watch, he's worked from the district attorney's office, and that's been a plus for us. We had a gentleman that retired from there, and the problem started again. But this young man came on and has done a fine job. So I think we need to recognize General Crump and his team on this as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
That all? Oh, great. Commissioner Collins.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All's well in District 3. I do want to jump on the bandwagon with Commissioner Rogers. We've got members of the Bearette coaching staff here, and a former classmate of mine, Amy Prophet Tinsley. Congratulations to you guys. 13 in a row for those ladies is really incredible. Also, congratulations to Walker Valley and Cleveland. Those ladies are moving on in the region as well, and I think our gentlemen are playing tonight. All three of those teams will advance, so it's great to have such strong, competitive teams in our area, and congratulations to them, and thank you guys for showing up today. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things, if I may. Back to our friends over at the landfill, I was informed that there is still a sign at the landfill that says cash only. Lori checked on it yesterday. They're going to take action on it, but as of when I heard this morning, they still have that. So hopefully that will be remedied here shortly. On the same note with the landfill, as you know, Mr. Chairman, I asked a month ago, I think now, correct me if I'm wrong, for the documentation on how they derived the price increases. They had to justify that price by doing some kind of benefit analysis or something like that. It shouldn't be arbitrary. So I was just wondering, Mr. Chairman, where are we at on that process?
We will have to check on it. I think to your point on time, it's been about 5 weeks. They have responded that they are working on it, but we will check and see where it's at. If not, we'll turn it over to the state, and we'll get some results out of the thing. They have the propensity to procrastinate on everything important to us, but we'll look into it further.
So just follow my logic here for 1 second. If they came up with an amount and they had to do an analysis and crunch the numbers, so to speak, in order to come up with that amount, wouldn't you think they would have that at their fingertips?
I have my own personal opinion. I can't validate what my opinion
That was
is.
a quasi-rhetorical question, but I think you made my point. Next, Mr. Chairman, it's that time of year. All commissioners will get a formal invite. The Great American Breakfast formerly known as the Solid Waste Breakfast, which is the worst name in the history of mankind. So I made them change it. But that will be March 31st at 7 a.m. So if you will put that on the calendar, I'd be forever in your debt. On that same note, we will have the Community Tire Recycling Program, and that will be on April 15th from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. Commissioner Mason's litter program is sponsoring that, or part of that program, as well as the Stormwater and Keep America Beautiful. I think it's a good program. It allows people to get their tires recycled or disposed of the proper way. With that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. Thank you.
Do you still want to move H on the agenda?
I was going to do that when we get to the approval of the
All right.
agenda.
Okay. Commissioner Alford.
Yes, Chairman, everything's good in the second district. I do have one announcement. The Farmers Market North Committee will meet tomorrow at 10:30 here in the commission room. Other than that, I'm in good shape.
Great. Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing today.
Great. Commissioner Beatty.
Everything looks real good in the first district. Got nothing to report.
Thank you. Commissioner Winters.
I forgot to remind everyone that the Legal Legislative Committee will be meeting this Friday, 10 o'clock in the commission room. Legal Legislative, 10 o'clock this Friday. Thank you.
We will move on down to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda? Commissioner Hughes, do I have a second? Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? Yes. Thank you. We're going to move item H first. Take a vote, please. Call the roll.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Item number H, Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee took up the issue of a bond swap a few weeks ago, and I put it on the voting session for today. And you have the resolution there. I'm pulling it up as we speak. But if you would, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask if Mr. Bessler is recognized to ask a few questions.
Yes, sir. Come forward, sir. Question?
Yeah. Wait 1 second. Sorry, let me pull up the notes here. All right. Again, thanks for coming down and chatting with us. I appreciate that. Just a few quick wrap-up things. In the documentation, again, these questions are coming to me. The reference cost of $125,000 to amend from LIBOR to SOFR. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that just a bit more than what's in the documentation.
Certainly. So the with LIBOR going away here in the United States, there was what was called the Alternative Rate Reference Committee, which was established to come up with an alternative to LIBOR, working jointly with the European regulators. The alternative rate that there's a few different indexes that have come up and seem to have gained footing, and the primary one is the Secured Overnight Funding Rate. SOFR is the acronym. So that's the alternate rate.
The next one, I think this is more a request and is a breakdown and a detail of the legal and advisory fees. Will we be able to get that?
We should be able to break that down right now. That's
And I guess
a good estimate.
Thank you. The last part over here, and this is, again, I had to write these down. Item 4, the counties, in the documentation, county would save on interest by terminating this contract. As you know, variable rates will almost always be lower than long-term fixed rates, but they carry the risk of increasing, which is why you enter into a swap in the first place, from what I understand. But does this put the county at risk and exposure to $10 million?
So $10 million would now all of a sudden become unhedged, go pure variable. That is correct, but the county's fund balance also works as a good asset liability match. So as the rates on the variable rates go up that you pay to bondholders, at the same time your investment rate that you can get in treasuries that you invest your assets in also goes up, allowing you to offset any potential increases in liabilities.
Those are the questions I was asked to ask you, so I appreciate that. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Finance Committee recommendation to adopt a resolution authorizing termination of interest rate swaps agreements of the Public Building Authority of Sevier County, Tennessee, relating to certain of its bonds, the proceeds of which are loaned to Bradley County. Mr. Chairman, put that in form of motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a-
Second.
Commissioner Slater is the second. Open for discussion, please. Call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Agenda item A, Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve resolution to appropriate $8,750,000 for a Pleasant Grove Lane water project in Bradley County to Cleveland Utilities as allowed by the conditions and terms of the American Rescue Plan Act for the funds allocated by Resolution 2021-50 and authorize the Bradley County Mayor to execute an agreement with Cleveland Utilities regarding said appropriations.
You place that in form of a motion, right?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Yes, Commissioner on first. Open for discussion. Any discussion? Mylan, Commissioner Blake.
That's all right. We're on first name basis. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, this is the issue of the water that was put on the finance agenda. The finance agenda took it up and started working the process. We asked Lori to ask the gentleman, first of all, for the record, the gentleman was asked to, he was invited to attend the finance committee, but was asked because of what was put in his application to test as well. I understand what was all said and I understand everybody's position, but Mr. Chairman, I think it's imperative that finance be allowed to continue its work. I think we're all for water. We can all speak for ourselves, but I think we've never turned down water on everything. But I think finance needs to do its due diligence. With that, Mr. Chairman, I put a substitute motion to let Finance Committee continue its work with respects to this motion. Thank you.
Have a second on the substitute motion. Commissioner Alford, gave a second. Open for discussion. Any discussion, Commissioner Hughes?
Mr. Chairman, I actually watched that finance committee, and I understand that it was the committee, but in all due respect, it was not the committee that requested that. That was the chairman that requested that. The full committee did not vote on that to request for the person.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
No?
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Goins,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
No.
Ledford,
No.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
No.
Hughes.
No.
Anyone wish to change their vote? That's 9 in favor and 5 opposed.
Motion, substitute motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, will you make sure it's on our agenda for March 6th?
Agenda item B, Commissioner Collins.
Thank you, Chairman Cry. First, allow me to recognize the individuals here in support of this resolution. It's always a blessing and an honor to honor individuals in our community that have not only achieved substantially, but moreover have done so while being a source of inspiration to the young people in our county and throughout the country. Thank you all for being here. Representative Kevin Raper asked me to propose this resolution as a procedural item in order for it to be carried to the State House of Representatives. 8 days ago, during a regularly scheduled work session of the County Commission, I asked that this resolution be considered for the agenda for today's voting session. From the work session, a few questions were asked. Specifically, will this gesture impact any addresses on South Lee Highway between Grove Avenue and Fairway Drive? As was shared in that work session, no addresses are impacted by the request to have this sign placed along the road. Today, I would like to make a motion and present this resolution to be voted on by this county commission that would allow Representative Kevin Raper the opportunity to petition the Tennessee State House to identify a portion of South Lee Highway in honor of Rhyne Howard, a 1998 graduate of Bradley Central High School and the #1 overall draft pick of the 2022 WNBA draft. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a second.
Got 2 seconds.
Got 2 seconds. Open for discussion. Commissioner Gilbert.
First, I'd like to thank the people in the 4th District that text me on this situation here, the resolution, and say thank you for the way that you presented yourself and for the comments that you made. I want you to know it humbles me to the way that you presented yourself. There was some teachers and some other people in our district that actually contacted me, and a lady asked me to come to one of the ball games. So I went to the ball game. And as going into the ball game, in front of me was Miss Sandra Morris. Probably one of my favorite teachers I've ever had. The most kindest, lovingest teacher that you've ever seen. She went to the state championship, won it, come back to Bradley County to take several girls to a state championship. And I thanked her and went on and sat down. But I had a person tell me, you do this one time, you're going to have to do it from now on for everybody. I understand that. I'm going to be voting yes on this. And for the few people that responded in the wrong ways, that's okay too. My daddy always told me, blessed is the peacekeeper, for he'll be a son of God. And I thank you for your time.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Alford.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Just a short, brief comment, please. The accomplishments of Rhyne Howard are outstanding and are inherited by sports analysts and enthusiasts across our nation. Objectively, her stats at Bradley Central, the University of Kentucky, and now the Atlanta Dream deserve to be honored. There has been talk to our community of pushback on honoring Miss Howard. I say now to those who purporting to know my thoughts and the thoughts of my colleagues that you are wrong. Sadly, these mistruths spread about the commission regarding the vote have most certainly hurt but one person, Miss Howard. It is my hope and desire to appropriately honor Miss Howard for her rare athletic talents and her unselfish offerings of the court and approving the resolution to symbolically rename a portion of South Lee Highway in her honor. Excuse me just a second. Bradley grad and a former Bradley graduate and a former Bradley coach, I take great pride in the successes of our graduates and the stars and wish to see them elevated to our community for their great accomplishments. I firmly believe Miss Howard should take her rightful place among our other Bradley legends. With that said, Mr. Chairman, I will be placing next voting session on the agenda to ask Bradley County Schools to create a procedure and to establish a vehicle for honoring our greats in the future. Thank you.
Very much, Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. We are decision makers. We have to make decisions pretty quickly many times. We are vilified if we move too quick. We're vilified if we move too slow. This young lady is deserving of every accolade that she can get. 13 years that this county has been district champs and been state champs, and we're proud of all that. This motion is a very fine quality motion from my colleague, but this took us all by surprise because our state representative presented or had this idea, I think, and was moving forward almost 2 months ago. We did not hear of this until the motion was given. I called my colleague. He sat right over there with me. I said, why did this happen so fast? He said, I said, for us, it's very fast. He said, for me, I've been working 2 months to do this. So what we got was a quick move to honor, and we definitely wanted to honor this young lady. At the same time, someone put on Facebook, I'm not a Facebook guy much, but I was told to look at this, to school me on whether we should be moving to the school board or to the director of the education system, that their role was not to vote on this. I know it wasn't their role. I thought we should also take a look at what they were wanting to do with what they're doing and how this could work into it if we had a little bit of time for that. So when he shared with me this, that he needed to move it quickly, that it needed to move forward, I understood exactly how this happened. But please do not take this that we in any way were negative on Rhyne in her ability and what she's brought to this community. Her best friend that was the forward with her is my niece. I know that the kind person she is, that Rhyne is. I know the person that she is, that when the opponent would fall down, she'd help him up after she'd then hit a three. I understand that she's a competitor, but she also brought great honor to all of us. So don't take this, that this commission was in any way negative. It's easy to talk about pushback in this litigious world, but let me say a few other things. I've heard about the good old boy thing about as long as I want to hear it. And I think I'm getting about that era of time in my life. I am good. I'm getting old, and I'm a boy. But I'm also my mama's boy. And I'm going to do the right thing, what it is for you and what it is for the... And there isn't a collusion going here by this group. Mention about the Sunshine Law. You know, I can talk to my legislator, which I did. I obviously chatted with him on that and then found out really what was going on this. But we're not a colluded group that just kind of wants to own. And I want to throw out one other word that's kind of interesting to me, was that we are illusionary superiors, that we do something called illusionary superiority. We are servants up here, folks. We work for you. We understand. We've been reminded of that by some people in this room, but we're on here to do the right thing and to represent you. We're also told that we, beside good old boys, have our personal agenda and our feelings and don't make decisions like you would like for us to. But this is one example, and let me tell you this. I feel like Kevin, because Kevin would say, let me tell you this all the time, Kevin Raper. Facebook can be the ruin of unity in this community. When you go on Facebook and vilify the rest of us, all of us, on a matter like this is not the way we should be. If I'm changing my phone So you can call me on my cell phone from this point. If you have a concern with me or my colleagues, you can contact us. But this stuff about that we have a plan not to do what's the right thing. We're there, and we're doing that today. And we're also going to look with the school board to acknowledge the school. I thought that this road was just a connect to Lee Highway. I thought it was a side road, and I didn't want to go for that. So I didn't have the information. But when we got the information, and we have all gotten that information now, but whoever got that information from Kevin, shame on you. Because he sat there 2 months waiting on this, and then we get it in this meeting. So whoever got that, and I think I know who probably did, you know, let us know that this is coming along the way, and we'll jump on the bandwagon just like you all doing that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me the time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to first say thank you so much to Representative Raper for working so well on this to honor one of Bradley County's greatest daughters. As one of 2 commissioners who represent where this commemorative and honorary sign will be placed, I am so thankful that this is happening. Rhyne Howard is not just a basketball player. Rhyne Howard is a daughter, a friend, and an ambassador of this great county. It's an honor to be a part of this elected body that represents the people of Bradley County that will vote today on this, to place this symbolic sign that recognizes her achievement and honors her legacy. It is an honor that this sign will be placed out in front of Bradley, outside of Bradley County High School, where she played basketball, where her legacy will be held forever. Rhyne is not just a basketball player. She is an individual that the youth of our county can use as an example of what they can achieve through discipline, dedication, and whatever profession they desire. I want to also say thank you to the countless people that have taken the time in the past week to speak with me. I've had so many people call, text, email me, and support this. And like I mentioned, that I went to the game last night, I can't tell you how many of the countless people stopped me while I was at the game and asked and begged for the support of this, and I 100% do. I'm thankful to hear from other commissioners that they are going to work with Bradley Central and the school board to be able to come up with a Hall of Fame for Bradley Central High School in a way to honor other people. But let me be very clear about the narrative that you have started hearing through this past week, that there was something procedurally wrong here, that Kevin hurried this, Representative Raper hurried this, or that Commissioner Collins was only brought to us last week. If you look in our rules and procedures of the Bradley County Commission under Section 6, under resolutions, Section 6F says resolution preparation. All resolutions placed on the agenda of a voting session shall be available for distribution to board members no later than 4 p.m. on the Friday before the meeting. So if there is an issue about when commissioners are getting resolutions, then I would ask that legal and legislative take a look at that rule and move that timeline up. But for this resolution, it was done correctly. There was also multiple times during last week that I have heard that this resolution was not brought up in a work session and that we haven't had time to look at it. It was brought up in a work session. And during that work session, any of the 14 commissioners up here that had an issue with it could have talked about it. Today, when we glanced past through number 9 on our agenda, unfinished business, that too is when we could have brought this up and talked about it before this became a vote. Also, you've heard this week that the schools and the school board did not know about this, and I know that that is not true as well. Multiple school officials, administrators, teachers have known about this since last year, and I appreciate Commissioner Winters stating that as well today. I know that Representative Raper brought this up and during his election last year. And finally, the narrative that the school board needs a say in this is also not correct. South Lee Highway is a state road, and TDOT and the state are the only two that have a say in this, but they need approval from the 2 governing bodies of Bradley County, which is this commission and the Cleveland City Council, not a school board. So I thank the hundreds of people who have posted on social media, who have called commissioners, who have spoke to news reporters, whatever it is. And I continue to urge the citizens of Bradley County to continue to do those things and continue to look at things and figure out why this has become such a big deal. I also urge citizens of Bradley County to continue to stay informed about what's going on in this room and continue to reach out to your commissioners and voice your opinions, because we don't work for this body. We don't work for ourselves. At least I don't. We work for the voters. We work for the people who duly elected us into this office. My only hope is that after this week, all this has shown us is that the voice and the will of the people still matter in this county. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Winters.
I concur with my 7th District colleague. I just want to make one thing clear. I did not say that the school board had a vote in this. I said that's our colleagues over there. And I think that they should know that we're ready to move on this. I did not know that this has been a plan of the school system or any of that in place. So if that's in place, I know who makes the vote. I spent 12 years on the school board. And I also know that we make the vote on this. But in that case, I think due to there being our colleagues, I thought if this was still had time, it would be good to take a look at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Gilbert.
One thing I'd like for you to understand, that sometimes you don't know who people are. Maybe you need to get to know them. Song for me, one of my favorite songs, Toby Mac and Aaron Cole. It starts with me. Look that up. Listen to it. That's who I am.
Thank you. Any more discussion? To the right, to the left, before Commissioner Blake.
I'll be quick, Mr. Chairman. Some of you may remember, but there's some new ones. I never thought that I would surpass the amount of emails, texts, and phone calls back when we were talking about SPCA. That was the record holder for the longest time. I'm here to tell you that record was broken over the last 2 days. I received more calls, text message, emails, and stuff like that. 9 to 1, probably 9.5 to 1 in support of. And I just want to commend Mr. Rogers. I very much appreciate that interaction. A lot of times we have issues, and I think it's the biggest thing since sliced bread, and I get very little, if anything. So I very much appreciate the interaction between the constituent, whether in your 3rd district or any district, working with either myself or any of the commissioners. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Before I ask for the vote, I'd just like to make a comment that there's a lady that put something on the Facebook. Someone took a photo of it and sent it to me, telling the world how we're going to vote by name. God forbid fortune tellers have a reputation in this world, and whoever this person is, they're going to live up to it. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Goins,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Absolutely, yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you very much. Agenda item C, Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like, last week I placed on today's agenda a motion to approve the Legal and Legislative Committee's agenda recommendation to send a letter to our legislators requesting the state forego the reverse, is the round, the reverse auction format in awarding Inflation Act. This isn't the same one. Right, what's on it? I got my papers all mixed up. Okay, I got it. Sorry. That's another one. Thank you. Motion, I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of the Legal Legislative Committee to send a letter to the legislative delegation requesting direction on how to handle county departments that exceed their budgets. You can find this in page 5. It's a letter from our Chairman, or a photocopy of the letter that will be sent if you approve, to request direction on how to handle departments that exceed their budget, asking him for advice and wisdom to be used in it. I place this in the form of a motion.
Second.
Who's the second? Commissioner Blake is the second. Open for discussion.
Chairman.
Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, I appreciate Vice Chairman Winters bringing this. As you know, we get the chance every once in a while to meet with commissioners from other counties. I can tell you, in chatting with them, they kind of have the same issue. So I appreciate that Bradley County, quote unquote, is leading the charge, but it's not just Bradley County that has to deal with this kind of thing. So hopefully we get some resolution. Obviously, the session is already in there, but at least it gets the attention of the folks up in Nashville who will ultimately help us out. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater. Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you very much. Agenda item D, Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to propose a motion to approve a recommendation by the Legal Legislative Committee to send a letter to the legislative delegation requesting the state review the procedure for awarding grants to internet service providers to expand broadband into rural areas of the state.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Hughes is on the second. Open for discussion.
I'll follow up, Mr. Chairman. This particularly has to do with ISPs that will underbid and not produce, that they overbid, that they can get the job done, but when it comes down to getting the job done in a timely manner, that there's some incidents where it's not happening. So this gives an opportunity to review awarding grants to internet service providers.
Open for discussion. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. Agenda item E, Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been a busy committee, as you
you're
can see.
busy.
Motion to approve recommendation by the Legal Legislative Committee to establish a policy annually allocating the first $10,000 of DUI reserve fund for indigent monitoring where appropriate, and to fairly and equally split the remaining funds from the misdemeanor probation department and anti-drug court, I think equally 50-50. I place this in the form of a motion, Mr.
Do
Chairman.
I have a second?
Second.
Second on Commissioner Slater. Open for discussion. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Commissioner Winters, you've been a busy man today.
This is number.
Agenda F.
This is letter F, are we correct?
That's right.
This is
Agenda item F.
Thank you.
Commissioner Winters.
This is the motion to approve recommendation by the Legal Legislative Committee to establish a policy requiring a fiscal note be attached to all resolutions introduced to the county commission. This is so that we as a body can affirm that we will have the funds to do this, or that the funds will be something that we'll have to work toward. I place this in form of a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Blake on the second. Open for discussion. Commissioner Rogers.
Is there, in that legal and legislative meeting, there was a caveat that it wouldn't apply to American Rescue Plan? Is that still in place in this motion?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Blake.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, I want to elaborate on that, Commissioner Rogers, absolutely, because it doesn't quite fit, it's not pertinent, because American Rescue works a little bit different, but to your point a few minutes ago, it was very well said on the rules and how things are introduced. I think this helps keep a lot of that from happening. The fiscal notes will obviously, as Commissioner, or Vice Chairman Winters just said, that it will basically outline where the money's coming from, when it was budgeted. A lot of times, some of these projects go multiple budgets. It'll put that in there. But I do ask that you keep in mind that this is, as I said to Lori, this is 1.0. This is the first round of it. I hope that if you're like, oh, we need this or we don't need this, that we give some feedback and make it better. But at least we get the ball rolling, some momentum. The fiscal note attached to a resolution, I think, can only help us. So I just wanted to add that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yes, Commissioner Rogers.
The fiscal note that will be attached will there be a template for commissioners to use, or will there be something for the mayor's departments to use, or anything like that?
It'll be one, Mr. Chairman. It'll be one. We worked on we took a template from, I guess, the way Nashville does it, and I know we shouldn't always go with Nashville, but at least, like I said, at least this gets started. It's basically going to be a form with what fund it's going to come out of, 101, 151, what have you, what account, what number, what budgets and stuff. So it'll just be attached to it, basically outlining that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. Item G, Commissioner Mason.
Mr. Chairman, motion to confirm the road committee recommendations to approve the Bradley County 2023 road list.
Commissioner Thompson on the second. Open for discussion. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you very much. Next item is communication from the audience. Anyone in the audience desires to speak? Commissioner?
Good day, folks. Couple things, find ourselves engaged in a conversation here, and you voted to put a road sign up. I think that when we need to kind of decide where we're going to set the level of the bar, my question about this is not that the person is a renowned athlete, but when we start honoring people with these sort of situations, I mean, is this person a member of the community? I mean, what has transpired here? Have we built a homeless shelter for women and children? Have we contributed to the shelter here to increase the capability to deal with the homeless population? Have we even engaged in and contributed to the SPCA, let's say? I mean, so we take a person and, I think an appropriate thing would have been maybe to name a gym after this person or something more appropriate. But I mean, so what does this say to the people in our community that, that have really given back to the community, whether it was, Alan Jackson, who was pulled out of college, never got the opportunity to finish that because he was taken out and put into a war. Whether you think that war was right or not is irrelevant, and he fought for his country. He got a Purple Heart. What about probably the best county commissioner who has ever sat here, which is Mel Griffith. Mel has spent the last 40 years contributing back to his community, asking nothing and doing it because he felt that was the right thing to do. Dr. Griffith, What are you gonna honor him with? What about Charles Bagley, somebody who also fought and got a Purple Heart and is a veteran and has spent the last 25 years contributing to the community, you know, giving of his time, giving of his efforts. You know, a lot of times I see these things, and this, you know, I'm not saying this is a situation here, but what I see is that we put things in the public sphere to cause divisiveness and you know, to separate people. And there's always somebody who benefits from that divisiveness, you know, because how they benefit is because they detract and take away from what should be looked at. You know, and a perfect example of this is, you know, this situation with the landfill. Now, I just heard someone say that they were taking cash. At 8:30 this morning, I went to the landfill, second day in a row. The sign is still up as of 8:30. I bet if you drive out there right now, the sign is still up. So I don't know where this information's come from, but I've texted that picture to 2 commissioners who know exactly what I'm saying and have a timestamp on that. You know, how insulting is it to this body that you have a corporation that's had a 2-fold revenue increase over the last year, and they think it's appropriate to come in and treat with disdain the citizens of Bradley County. They're on our property out there, and they are telling you can't use cash. I'm sorry, that's our property. Who gave them the right to say we were not going to take cash? This is ridiculous. I sat in this room and listened to the guy from Republic say, "Oh yeah, we'll fix that next week." It didn't get fixed. That was back in December. I also was in here when he talked about doing it over a year ago. You know, the people that are affected by this may not be any of you, but it's the people who, first thing is, may not have access to a banking account. Don't trust swiping a card, you know, because we know what happens in the digital money system and how easy those things are corrupted and how easy money is stolen. So now all of a sudden, we've got someone saying, "Oh, no, that's been changed." Well, I was there at 8:30 this morning. There's nothing been changed unless it's happened since then. But you can be assured I'll be on my way, and I'll check it when I go home, because this is ridiculous. I got just a couple minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to yield Mr. Rawls 5 more minutes, please.
Did you handle it about 3, Dan?
How about 4?
Okay.
And so here we
Excuse me,
are.
Chairman, I would object to that adding 5 minutes. I think we're supposed to vote on that when we add anything.
You are.
Okay. I don't. We'll vote. Adding 5 minutes to Mr. Rawls. Can you call the roll, please?
Nope.
Yes.
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 You have 5 minutes, Mr. Rawls.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Dan, if I may, listen, I worked long and hard to get this commission seat, and listen, my constituents are who I work for. I just don't think that we as a commission need to tell the constituents of our district how long they have to talk. That's who we work for. Josh made that clear. I don't work for any of y'all. I work for them, the constituents. Yes, Dan is a constituent of mine in the 6th district, but I'm talking about any constituent. So, Dan, take your 4 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, it's 5 minutes. He has. We voted on it. Go ahead.
And so what we have here is a corporation that has drastically increased their revenue. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they've come in here And there's a lot of people in this room and all over the county that have worked very hard to get the trashy tires and all the tire dumps and stuff settled. So what do? They tenfold try to increase, and thank God we had a commissioner that was looking at this. There's a tenfold increase of the price of tires. You know what that does? That forces people to start dumping the tires back on the road again. That's what that does. And now they've act like they've thrown us a bone, and they said, "Oh, we're just going to go down to $225 or $250." But you know what? That's a doubling of the increase. That's a doubling of the money. You know, when we have these corporations and stuff doing these sort of things, and we've entered into contracts and stuff that may not allow us to, to step up and tell them they can't. But when they stand here and they tell us they're going to resolve an issue, and they don't resolve that issue, and that to me is lying because it happened twice, and I heard it. So what are we going to do about our constituents that fit into this bubble that they can't even use the system that we put in place for them to use because we're being dictated? And if you've ever looked at a dollar, it says for all debt, public and private. Where do they stand on our property doing that? And whoever, like I said, I'm going by there, and if that sign's up, I'm sending every one of y'all a text with that picture. Every one of you. And so this corporate situation is what, we should be looking at. And why hasn't these things been called a task? Isn't that what the media is supposed to do? Shouldn't the media be saying, hey, look, why did this happen? I haven't seen a story about this. I haven't seen the first one. Why? Are you looking out for the people, or or is the media looking out for somebody else? Are they looking out for the rich? Are they looking out for the powerful? Is that what we see here? It appears that way to me. Of course, maybe I'm just convoluted. I don't know. I do know. No, they're not. They're not doing their job. We should be calling these things out. They should be making note of these things at every opportunity, because these are the people that are the most underrepresented that we have. That's who is being trampled on. And you guys in the 6, that's probably the poorest, district there is. It affects those people. They tell me about it. They talk to me, but no, we have a local media here who thinks it's, more appropriate to, misconstrue slander, whatever, and make attacks on people who draw these things to people's attention. When we bring these things out, it makes you a target. It happens everywhere, and it happens here. If you don't think it happens, you're very misguided. And I can prove that. Last week, one of the commissioners made a statement honoring, or giving some recognition to Doug Barry for the negotiating the contract on Volker. I'm sorry, he wasn't even here then. He wasn't even here then. That contract was negotiated by the people that were here. Maybe that's justification. Maybe that's someone trying to justify why we give the Chamber of Commerce almost $500,000 a year. I don't know. But why wasn't that called? Why wasn't that point made? Who's watching out? Who's watching out? It's not our media. That's clearly evident. Not them. So, anyway, I appreciate y'all's time, and I'll be stopping by to see if that sign's still up. Thanks.
No, you can't.
Adam, if I may, did I hear you say that you had called the landfill just now?
Prior to walking into the meeting,
Yes.
this was the first that we were made aware that there was a sign at all that there was any issue at all with taking cash. So I made a phone call to David Hollenshed, who's our representative with Republic. He assured me that there was a sign that had been placed erroneously and that he would make sure that it would be taken down this morning if it had not been already, that they'd been instructed to take down the sign, that they at no time have stopped taking cash under orders from him or the general manager. So do I know for a fact if the sign's down? He's told me that it is. There were 2.
Okay. Just one more thing. This contact that you have, can we make sure, and maybe give him another call? Dan's gonna go back out there. I would really like to see this sign taken down, and it just relieves the mind, but, cause people that come up to the landfill and wanna dump something, when they see that sign, if it's not taken down, they're just gonna turn around. But that sign needs to be taken down.
His text message to me 5 minutes ago says all signs 2 are down. Cash is still accepted.
Dan, let us know. Thank you.